Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kelsey and let's finish a series together. So if you don't know, on my channel, I have two ongoing series that are occurring. The first series of videos that I like to do is finish a series with me. I have a lot of series. I used to buy series in their full completion in the hopes that it would push me to finish the series, and I have to make this channel series in order to stick with my goal. And then on top of it, I also had a goal to read all of the Rick Riordan books that were involved in the Percy Jackson universe lore. Okay, so we're coming to a conclusion here. I am going to finish The Trials of Apollo with you today. So if you don't know, The Trials of Apollo started with, let me get the book, The Hidden Oracle, and it follows what happens after the Heroes of Olympus series, where Apollo is sort of punished for the goings-on that happened there, and he is thus turned into a 16-year-old boy by Zeus. And in order to sort of regain his place on Mount Olympus, he has to restore the 5 oracles that have gone dark. So right now, where I'm at in the series, we have solved 3 out of the 5 oracles that are missing. The first book I'll be reading for this vlog is The Tyrant's Tomb. Apollo has realized that the Roman emperors of the past, so these evil emperors, are set on controlling the world, or at least the demigods around them. And this book specifically, Caligula and Commodus, I think? Yeah, Commodus plan to attack Camp Jupiter, and Camp Jupiter is the Roman version of Camp Half-Blood in the Heroes of Olympus series. What I'm really appreciating about this series is that it brings back or calls back the other series that we've read in the past. So it feels very satisfying to read this book and conclude it. I definitely think it's my favorite series after the Percy Jackson series. So I'm really enjoying this. And every book there is a new edition of someone from the past that comes. So I'm very excited for this one because I believe it's Raina. And I am going to start this right away and we'll see what happens. Hello, so I'm still pretty early on in the book, about 40 pages in, chapter 5, but I did want to give a little dive into how the book is starting out and how I'm feeling. So it's starting off with a pretty somber note. If you recall the ending of The Burning Maze, one of our main Rick Riordan characters passed. So spoiler warning, obviously from here on out for the Apollo series, but Jason passed at the end of The Burning Maze. I thought that was a really brave decision from Rick Riordan, and here we're diving into Apollo and Meg bringing back Jason's body to the Roman camp. So they run into Hazel at the outskirts of the camp and they inform her that they are bringing Jason's body. So a little somber of a start, which I think is a really interesting and different take from Rick Riordan. There's still a bit of humor coming from Apollo, which I greatly appreciate in this series. I do think it's a perfect balance. Really feels like the Percy Jackson series over the last couple of series that we've read from Rick Riordan. I'm going to continue reading it. I'll probably update you guys at the 150 page mark or 200 page mark. We'll see how it goes. Like with all of the other Trials of Apollo books, I'm really enjoying my experience so far. So I'll be updating you a bit later and I will continue listening to it on audio while reading at the same time. I really enjoy the audiobook narrator for the series. I'll come back later and with his name. But I really like him. He's narrated all of the Trials of Apollo series. I think he fits perfectly with the voice and comedic timing that I was talking about. So I'll get back to this and I will let you know how I feel. Hello, so I did that thing where I read until late at night and I said, update you in the morning. It's been several days. I've just been really busy these past few days and haven't had time to really update on this book. And now, in order to get this book up this week, I have essentially 2 days to finish 2 books, 1 day to edit, and then I post. So that's my goal. We're gonna see if I could do it, and you guys are gonna come along with me. But as for the update for The Tyrant's Tomb, I am now at page 150, and we sort of have a plan that's going on for Apollo and Meg to go on in order to kind of stop the 3 emperors that are coming together in order to take down the Roman camp, as we saw in the last book. So they are being helped by another girl, Lavinia. And I really like Lavinia, I think she's a really cool character. She's not a character that we've seen before. I definitely thought Reina was going to be more involved in this one, but we seem to have Lavinia coming in as Reina needs to watch over the camp, right? And be sure that the camp is getting ready. So Lavinia is off with Apollo and Meg to go to the Tarkin's tomb in order to kind of stop the three emperors before they're able to really do something. Something that I distinctly remember upon reading it is that Apollo has a crush on Reina, and especially in his human body, he's able to sort of like feel those feelings, and when he looks at Reina, it's very obvious to people that he has a crush on her. So I'm not too sure where that's going to develop, because Reina obviously loved Jason, and we're dealing with the aftermath of Jason's death in this one. I don't think Reina is going to be particularly into Apollo, at least in this book. Probably not even in this book, but maybe in a future Percy Jackson book. I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if they never get together, because that would be gross, as he is 1,000 years old. A little weird of an age gap. Again, really enjoying this. I think I said this in the last update. I really like the audiobook narrator for this series. So he makes it really engaging, but he also makes it really easy to follow along. I think he does a great job at like enunciating words. His excitement and descriptions in the book make it a fun read. So I'm definitely going to continue listening to this. I have a ridiculous goal of finishing it today and then reading all of this tomorrow. In between like all my meetings and stuff for work, I definitely have chiller days. So it's possible that when I do some more menial tasks, I'd be able to read this or listen to it on audio and hopefully finish this book. We'll see. Hello, so I have gotten to page 269 of The Tyrant's Tomb, and that's chapter 28. And before we continue, I just want to talk briefly about where we are in the plot. So as per the oracle or like prophecy that they had to go explore to find the silent god. So right now it's Meg, Reina, and Apollo, and we just learned who the silent god is. And I thought that that was really interesting, the way that they like found the tomb. I think this is probably like Rick Riordan's most like aware or like progressive, whatever you want to say, series, because in it he talks about how the war on the Roman camp with the Roman gods is going to affect the environment, and it's obviously like a very big nod to how wars affect the environment and hurt the species of the land and the plant life of the land. And I really enjoyed that entire chapter and that entire conversation. I thought it was like just a nice addition, and I think it's important that kids who are reading these books learn about environmental issues and how the things that we do in the name of like our country and capitalism affects negatively the earth that we live on. Just another like small side note, but Apollo did reveal his feelings for Reina, and she laughed in his face, which I think is really funny. I'm sure there's like an underlying thing, but like obviously Apollo's like, what the fuck, bro? So I thought that that was a funny scene, but also really confusing. But I think Reina has like some sort of knowledge that Apollo obviously does not as a human. So now we have just unlocked who the silent god is. Basically, they're like one step closer to solving the prophecy that they are a part of. So every single one of Rick Riordan's books that are involved with the Greek and Roman myths have these like prophecies at their cores, obviously, because we are dealing with like oracles and missions that are given to them by the gods. So that's where we are right now. I'm excited to see how this will play out and how it will open into the finale. So I'm really expecting for the last like 200 pages or so to be really wild. I have about an hour and a half on 3 listening speed for this book, so I'm going to continue listening to it, and hopefully I can finish it before I go to bed tonight. It's 9:30, so I should be good, but we'll see. Hello, so I'm coming to you with an update much later than I wanted. Such is life. But I did finish The Tyrant's Tomb today. I had about 40 minutes, and it literally took me like almost all day to get to it because I was just feeling super lazy today, which is not great for being productive, but I guess mentally it helps. And I really enjoyed this. The ending I think was really thrilling. We had another like sad moment, which I really do appreciate. I'll get to it a bit in my review, but I just like that Rick Riordan's like tackling more serious topics with the Apollo series, and you could definitely tell that he's writing it in a way and understanding that his audience is smart and intelligent children, and not dumbing down any feelings that our characters are having. I mentioned that I really enjoyed the like environmentalist take that was going on in this book. So at the end of this book, we have defeated 2 out of the 3 emperors, and Apollo and Meg need to travel back to New York in order to tackle Nero, who is, I guess, the final boss. He was the first boss, he's the final boss. There is something that both Meg and Apollo have to deal with him. So obviously it makes sense that he would be the grand finale that we will be tackling in the next book. But let's get into my overall review. So I ended up giving this 4 stars. I think this is one of Rick Riordan's like better books that I've read. Like I said, not only did it have more of an emotional impact based on the events of the burning maze, it almost occurred again. And I think Rick Riordan had prepared not only the characters, but the younger audience to deal with it once more were it to have stuck. That's all I'll get into in terms of like non-spoilery. So I appreciated that it showed and allowed younger readers to grieve alongside the characters while also still maintaining this plot, and demonstrating that you could still be a part of a resistance while also grieving. Much like every book in the series, I really love Apollo. I think I say this every review I've had of the Trials of Apollo series. I really like him as a character, and I also really enjoy how he's growing. He's still funny, he's still awkward in this human form, but there's a definite like wisdom coming forth, and it's not from him being a god, it's from the trials and tribulations that he's dealing with being a human. So I'm really excited to jump into the finale because I know I'm in for a wild ride while this wraps up. I have listened barely to the first chapter and a bit of the Tower of Nero, and it starts right away with them being in New York in a train, and they are caught by what obviously is like Nero's cohort, because Meg knows the person that has caught them on the train. So right away we know that we are dealing with Nero's group, and we're jumping right into the action. So I'm going to go continue reading this until my boyfriend gets home and we start supper together, and then I'll probably catch up with you later. Hello, so I got 1/3 into the Tower of Nero tonight. I'm gonna listen a little bit more, I guess, but this is going to be the last update of the night. I do think I could get the other 60% done tomorrow if I really focus on it and don't like dilly-dally in the morning like I did today. I think I could possibly finish it. The last I updated you, Apollo and Meg were like captured by one of Nero's servants, but we find out that this servant raised Meg essentially and has a soft spot for her, so they were able to escape, and they found solace in Percy Jackson's parents, which I thought was really cute. It was a cute little scene. And then they ended up going to Camp Half-Blood where they met Will and Nico. And if you remember from the Heroes of Olympus series, Nico is one of my favorite characters, so I'm very happy to be back with him. This series brings back like characters from the previous series. I'm happy Nico is the chosen one for this, and his boyfriend Will, which I think is really cute. And before they get to Camp Half-Blood, they get like this prophecy, or the final half of the prophecy, which tells them that along with Rachel there, they're probably going to have to go to the Tower of Nero. Obviously, not probably, they will be going there to fight both Nero and the Python. And the Python is the one that is controlling the oracles right now and keeping them silent, which is why Rachel feels like she needs to help, because she feels sort of helpless. The chapter that we just ended with, Python has taken sort of control of Rachel Dare. And if you don't remember who Rachel Dare was, she is an oracle in the Percy Jackson series. Another kind of prophecy is given through the Python, and now they are, what I'm assuming, going to enter a battle with the surrounding area of Rachel Dare's home. So I am enjoying it, obviously, and I will give you an update tomorrow, probably at the next third. Hello. I really don't like this angle, but it's the best that I can do for right now. But I wanted to update you because I am 64% into the Tower of Nero, so I'm definitely expecting it to finish it within the next like hour and a bit. If you would tell me like, oh, I found the Tower of Nero to be really boring, I wouldn't be surprised. I think that this is probably the most like inner contemplative novel of the entire series so far. Basically what we have is just a lot of gatherings together in different moments. As we last spoke, they were together with Rachel Dare and they got attacked by cows, and they had to run away and hide using Nico's shadow magic into the ground. This is where they met the Trogs, and they're like the best I could imagine is like froggy, lizardy people. And then they got attacked again because the python is able to like kind of know where they are due to Rachel and due to Apollo, because they are all connected through like prophetic readings. And then Apollo and Meg give themselves up to Nero. I really like that scene. I thought it was really funny that it's like a very corporate positioning that they've taken. I thought that was really cute and really funny. But anyway, so they get caught essentially, and Nero puts them into a cell with Lou. Lou is the one who helped them escape in the beginning. Apollo and Lou are trapped together, and Apollo has these moments of like realizing how much he cares about Meg and how much he wants to like be a human and make the right choices and do the right thing. And so obviously, as I mentioned with the last book, I'm really appreciating this growth with Apollo. I think him being less of a god and more of a human is a really interesting dynamic that he is dealing with. And then obviously we have Meg's struggles with Nero. If you don't remember, in the first book, Meg is the like daughter or adoptive daughter of Nero. And so she has this like very tumultuous relationship with Nero because he is her adoptive father, but he manipulated her into being his daughter and loving him essentially. So he's an abusive like adoptive father in reality. And over the last 5 books, Meg has really grown at understanding that Nero wasn't the person that she thought he was, or understanding it actually how she has been abused. Growing from that, and what we're seeing now is that Nero is trying to like re-manipulate her, re-abuse her, and Meg is struggling with that. And that makes a lot of sense because this is essentially her adoptive father. As we are not with Meg and we are only in Apollo's POV, we can't really know how Meg is feeling and what Meg is doing. I don't think Meg's gonna betray Apollo, obviously, but I know Rick Riordan is gonna make it seem that way. So we're going to see in the last third, and then I will update you later when I'm done. Can I just say I love Nico D'Angelo so much. Like, I'm so happy the series is ending with him as one of the main or primary characters. Love him. Hello, welcome to the end of the vlog and welcome to the end of the Trials of Apollo series. I can't believe we're here. The end of what was Rick Riordan's like omnibus grand finale. Of course, now reading this in 2024, we have 3 new books from the Percy Jackson series out of Rick Riordan, which I will be reading and I will be vlogging, so that's really exciting. But let's talk about my final feelings about the Tower of Nero. So this was truly such a solid ending, and it really made me appreciate the series, The Trials of Apollo, overall. I find it to be one of Rick Riordan's most successful out of all of the ones I've read. The battle with Nero started like pretty eminently upon opening the book, but I don't feel like it deterred from the novel's overall pacing. I still found it to be quite in line with the rest of the Trials of Apollo series. I really liked that it still followed that it jumped right in, but we still had these slow exploration of character development. We really solidified what Apollo and Meg are as characters, and they never faltered or went back on what we've seen them become. Like, I had thought Meg would like pretend to betray Apollo, but she didn't even do that. She really stuck her guns to growing up and maturing and realizing that she was abused in her childhood. The maturity shined through Apollo's journey, and that overall made not only this book but the series a great read. The way that Riordan handled his development and mental health journey and the mental health journeys of all of the characters has never let me down. I really was completely impressed by this series, and especially with this finale. And also Nico and Will were in this one, and I'm so excited. I think I'm going to read their book next, and I'll probably vlog that, or maybe I'll vlog all of the books that are out so far. Anyways, we'll see, but I'm very excited. I've always loved Nico, but I really liked Nico in this one, and I really liked Will's addition as his like boyfriend. So that was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed this. Overall, this was just such a success, and I ended up giving this 4 stars, and that's it. That is the end with these 2 books, the end of the Trials of Apollo series. I can't believe we've gotten here. But yeah, 2 very successful reads. I can't say I didn't enjoy either. I liked both of them very equally, and we're done. So please let me know down below, did you read the Trials of Apollo series? Did you like the series? Did you hate the series? What are your thoughts? Please let me know down below. I love talking Rick Riordan, and if you would like to follow me on my reading journey with any other books, I always leave a link down below to my Twitter, Goodreads, and Instagram if you would like to follow me there. And of course, because it is the end of the video, please do not forget to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. It does wonders for my channel. It makes me feel really good. And that's it. I never know how to end these things, so I will see you next time. Okay, bye!